me personally, autumn is the most interesting season. You know, for people to have been through summer and to actually come back feeling good about themselves, it gives me, like a really nice vibe. What we're seeing now is like a lot of kind of natural textures. When hair is kind of long, maybe you're working with the idea of kind of width and you're working sort of back combing but with your fingers. Maybe a little bit of like a product like a mousse, maybe a little bit of hairspray, really old 80s kind of products. I think it is about emphasising natural texture. It's definitely about working with colour. Maybe it is slightly bigger, it's slightly wiggier, not so kind of narrow. And let's make it simple, let's not make it more difficult. So it's quite fun, you kind of got to look at something like this and smile. It's so nice to do. We're trying to encourage in women that go out, it is kind of more maybe of like a bad girl kind of vibe. If you imagine, say, someone going to a club locally, okay, maybe they're very groomed and done and they look fantastic. See them 5 hours later. When they're slightly battered and maybe when their hair's full of kind of cigarette smoke, the hair that was up is now kind of suddenly all kind of coming down. They've been in the toilets trying to fix it. That's sexy hair, that's good. If you can recreate that before you go out, then you're there, then that's good. What we want to encourage people to do here is to get products all the way through, because that way you do sort of start to emphasise the natural textures a little bit more. Anything with like a 50s kind of vibe seems to rub into men's hair. I also like the idea of kind of like 60s, kind of Steve McQueen and the movie Bullet, and sort of very kind of groomed and done. But it's not undone for men. It is tailored. We've seen this kind of 50s thing, now it's becoming more grown out and people are working texture into it. So it can be slick, but also it's a little bit kind of looser as well. Groomed is good, but it's not as interesting as actually seeing what your natural hair really does. If you've been out in the sun over the summer, you're now into the autumn, you're into fall, what's that hair going to do? What's that texture going to be like on the ends when you've been swimming and it's all kind of salty? That's what I want to see. Something like this I think is cool, because we've got a short shape, but what we're trying to do now is actually grow this a little bit more. As it grows, this bit will get progressively longer, and it gives him some sort of growing room, which I think is cool. The big companies spend, I don't know, millions on producing new colours, new marketing. What we're just looking for is new shades. So you can take blondes, manipulate them, you can put ash, which kind of gives this really cold tone, so maybe sort of more sort of brown tones, maybe some more synthetic tones as well. I mean, it may be that this is almost like a very kind of flat brown. That's almost like an ashy brown. That's quite unusual. If you look at most browns, they tend to be sort of quite golden and quite shiny. That has like a really sort of flat, almost like a grey granite kind of reflect to it. That's kind of overkill for me. There's kind of too much pink. But say we took like a blonde and just worked like a really faded pink, maybe as like a detail through the front, maybe into a certain way that I've cut, or maybe a way that we've left like a length, or maybe there's a different texture running through it. Do's and don'ts this fall, I think do be an individual. I think be brave. I think explore the things that you like. There probably is a look which I personally don't want to see this fall. When I worked in London, particularly the mid-90s, we went through this thing of Jennifer Aniston. I really, really can't handle that.